going on? Wins Above Replacement Podcast, War Sports, Super Bowl edition. Today we got some special guests. It's the group chat coming together for this special Super Bowl preview. So we got the homie over here, Cam, number one Buccaneers fan in our hearts, and the only Buccaneers fan I ever really knew. Dominic, who he's a Bronco fan, and he's a native Coloradan, and of course Ben and Dion here rounding out the War Sports Podcast. So how's everybody doing tonight? How's everybody feeling?
Good, man. Good.
All right. Super Bowl week. It's almost like a holiday. It should be, right? I'm hoping Cam called off Monday just in case, so good or bad. It might be a good day to not go to work. Who knows?
I got PTO. Right. I'm good.
Yeah, that's a smart man. I mean, you always gotta save those days for when you need them. So I mean, this is a interesting Super Bowl, right, fellas? We got a rematch. It's interesting because of the rematch factor, but it's also interesting because the Buccaneers they're playing at home. This is the first ever home team playing in their own stadium, sleeping in their own beds. And then on the other side of it too, the Chiefs, right? It's a compacted travel schedule, so it's not that 2 weeks in the Super Bowl site like it used to be. They're flying in fresh. They've been at home for the longest, and it's kind of like a regular game as far as travel goes. So just a couple of things there. First thoughts about just kind of the setup of the Super Bowl this year with COVID. What do you think, Cam, kind of being the home team host of the day for us?
For me and for the team, I think personally, they're trying to make a big deal about not being able to fire the cannons, but that's really not a big deal, in my opinion. I think being able to stay at home and sleep, be with your family, you don't have to worry about getting tickets for cousins that call you, for that's a big thing. That's a big relief, I think, for the team.
What about Dom? What are you thinking as far as just the setup this year with COVID precautions, travel restrictions?
Man, I think it's kind of a drag. I think that the Bucs would actually have even more of an advantage if there actually wasn't those COVID restrictions. Like, I feel like there'd be more noise for the Bucs there. I mean, we saw, I think the biggest surprise that we've ever seen travel from a 18 to a Super Bowl was when the Seahawks came and beat the Broncos, right? And the Broncos were all saying it was like we were at an away game because there was so much noise there. I was kind of hoping that we would see that for the Bucs. So that's unfortunate they don't get that. It is nice if they get to sleep in their own beds, though. You keep hearing Brady talking about how he's been alone for a couple of weeks, just prepping and driving around with his dog on the coastal highways. So give that dude another advantage. That's all he really needs.
And man, at 43, you need all of them, right? I mean, you gotta rest your body. A TB12 method. Dion, what do you think about all the kind of restrictions? No traditional media day circuses, no Radio Row to deal with. I mean, what do you think as far as focus and everybody's ability to prepare for this game?
No, I think they both Cam and Dom hit on some good points. That's got to be huge because you hear a lot of times that a lot of the players say, "I'll let my wife handle all the dealing with the tickets," but it's a distraction for the players. That's why they don't want to deal with it. Again, staying at your own home is huge. That's big. But on the flip side, it is kind of sad because, hey, this is kind of a big deal. They're playing at home, Super Bowl at home. I mean, so many times teams have come close and we thought it was going to happen and never happened. And so it should be a bigger deal. I mean, and like I said, the cannons is a thing that's, it's like, this is our home. This is where we play, and they're not getting that full effect. But on the flip side, really, I think the visiting team, I wonder what kind of disadvantage that is that they're not flying out until when I can't remember, is it tonight or tomorrow they're flying out to? I mean, so they're not having the whole week. Yeah, they're not having the whole week there to prepare to get, used to it. It's just like a normal travel game, this year, the way they did, so I don't know. They both hit on good points. I'm kind of curious to see it. It is kind of sad. Like I said, I mean, I think it's a big deal that they're playing at home and it's kind of, I don't know whose favor is it. That's what I'm kind of curious to see. Does it help out the Chiefs? Because hey, we're playing in Tampa, but there's only 22,000 fans there, so it's not like we're playing in front of a packed house, a Tampa full of Tampa fans, So kind of curious to see how it plays out, but it's gonna be interesting.
One thing I was really nervous about is how much the coaching staff was holding their breath for when those COVID tests went out, because you test positive on Wednesday, Thursday, you may be out of the game, right? So I think I saw today maybe Robinson was activated for the Chiefs, and I think AB was having some issues. Cam, do you have any updates on kind of what Antonio Brown's status is, or what that may look like as far as his health level?
From what I've seen today, AB is 100% a go. The only person that is a game time decision is Cameron Brate.
Okay.
And that kind of hurts because that's been Brady's go-to guy, because Gronk is more of a blocking tight end. Right. Whenever we've gotten third down and long and we need that play, it's always been Cameron Brate this year. So that's a big piece if he can't play.
I think that, that 2 tight end set, Brady's always loved that. And Gronk is much more of a decoy in a lot of packages, a lot of that blocking tight end. A lot of those quick screen passes, maybe that AB runs a little bit too. Who knows? Last week, kind of Scotty Miller snuck in on that late first half touchdown. But Godwin is my guy, man. I've been pumping him up since about week 10, week 11, and he's consistent. He always finishes the game with 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown somewhere. And I don't ever remember any of them, but he just sneaks in and he does this thing. So as far as that offense goes, without Cameron Brate, who do you think is going to maybe benefit the most? And then how do you think it's going to affect the run game if it's kind of more of a single tight end game with Gronkowski there?
I think it's going to go back to Godwin, and I think Scotty Miller. But Antonio Brown's a game changer. If his head is right, you can't really double anyone. And that opens up the run game, because the safeties, they have to play back. They can't play in the box. So Ronald Jones, he's kind of been iffy these last couple of weeks. It's playoff Lenny, they call him, Leonard Fournette, and he hasn't fumbled, I think, in something like 693 carries.
Yeah.
So, but he can't catch the ball.
Having fresh legs is big. He's coming in the last few weeks, and he's been fresh basically because he hasn't been used much this year. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that's a weakness for us, I think, is our run game. Our run game still isn't what I think it should be.
It got you this far, man. I'm not going to say a weakness is in any level. You know what I mean? Believe in it, bro.
Yeah, pretty damn good to me. But yeah,
man, you got to the prom, bro. You got to the prom. You got to dance with whoever you brought.
Yeah. Well, and that just goes back to me. It's a question that I had on one of the previous episodes, and something I brought up, and I want to maybe ask Cam now. Not to get too off topic, none of that stuff, but what's your thoughts on Antonio Brown? Obviously, being a Steelers fan, I still hold some bitterness. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like, and I've said all along that I feel like they're better without him, is how I kind of feel. I understand where you're coming from. He's a game breaker. He's a game changer. And when his head's right, he's definitely, it makes you guys, you can't double team anybody, but I almost feel like they're more productive with Scotty Miller than. That's just like I said, I'm trying to figure out, is that something in me, the hatred and not wanting to see him succeed? Is that what it is, or what do you feel?
No, when the Bucs signed him, I didn't want him. I didn't like the signing. Even now to this day, I still don't know if I like it. He got us like 4 touchdowns in a row. He did good 4 games in a row.
And he's been good. He's been good too, quiet.
He's been playing good, but his press conferences that he did this week for the Super Bowl shows me that he has zero remorse for anything that happened. Okay. And I think that if he wasn't Antonio Brown, he wouldn't even be playing right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get a feeling from you, like I said, to see what you thought. But me and Ben talked a few weeks ago, and I was like, I feel like they're a better team with Scotty Miller personally. But
I thought those go routes last week when Mike Evans was kind of out of his element running those AB routes, he stone-handed a couple of them. He wasn't ready for the timing. Those are AB's routes. You know what I mean? Those are the hot routes that Brady loves at the line of scrimmage. Back to, we talk about this a lot, in the group chat, but off topic, AB was that mid-season signing. On the other side of the ball, at the time, Cameron was right on when he said he didn't really want AB. On the other side, though, Le'Veon Bell got picked up after being a squeaky wheel somewhere else, and he's in the Super Bowl too. So these two kind of squeaky wheels benefited out of almost all of the other free agents that were out there and ended up on Super Bowl teams.
But hold on. But they're not major contributors though, right? Like Edwards-Helaire, if he doesn't get hurt, we're not even talking Le'Veon Bell. We're talking Le'Veon Bell catching some passes out of the backfield on third down, stuff like that.
Even with Helaire out, Darrell Williams all of a sudden was the lead back the last 2 weeks. So there are different roles now than they were when they were with Pittsburgh. They're asked to do different things. And to be role players and. and Le'Veon Bell, his carries are way down right now. So yeah, exactly.
I'll ask you this. I'll challenge the group real quick. Were they signed because they had talent, or were they signed because the GMs and the teams were future forward thinkers and said we need some depth at these areas and positions, and we're going to set ourselves up for success, and we may need these guys someday? I mean, which one is it? Don, what do you think?
Well, yeah, man, I think on the side they were struggling early, right? They were really struggling with that offense early, and they wanted to bring in somebody available for Brady to just like a little bit of comfort to throw to. I think that's what brought him inside there. I mean, if they could have got a Danny Amendola or a Julian Edelman if he was healthy, would have went that way instead? I don't know. I just think they were trying to do something to make Brady feel a little bit more comfortable before him and Arians really started clicking. On the Le'Veon Bell side, man, I think those guys in Kansas City have like come to be wizards, right? I don't know how they're paying all those dudes. Like everybody signed through the next 5 years somehow, and they're all getting paid big money. They're playing cap games like at just a top-notch level, right? So they did bring Le'Veon Bell in to say, hey, if we have, because they've had running back injuries in the past, right? Last year, even the year before, they usually drop a running back or two, and I think that's why they brought him in there. He wants to. Sorry, Dion, but he wants to shove it up Pittsburgh and say, hey, I can go win somewhere else. And so he took that signing instead, right? I'm sure that he got quite a few offers, but yeah.
What do you think, D? Good front office or just good talent and they got a good bargain?
Well, like Dom said, I mean, if you look at Le'Veon Bell, if someone goes down or Edwards-Helaire starts, the season starts taking a toll, they didn't really know what they had in Darrell Williams. I'm sure I didn't know. I'm sure nobody really knew. And you look, they're a pass first team. They pass. And what's Le'Veon Bell's? That's what he's known for. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. So, and there's a rather cheap risk, really. I mean, it doesn't work out after a few weeks. You're not losing much, And same with Antonio Brown. He had familiarity and was friends had a relationship with Tom Brady. So hey, if Brady wants him, let's get him in. If it's going to help us out, you're bringing more talent to this team that already has all this talent. It's a small risk you're taking for some potentially, high reward. So.
Cam, what do you think as far as that? Good GMs, good scouting department, or these players had enough talent to be contributors? Which one do you think it really is on those two players?
When Bell first signed, I thought it was a good fit. Just kind of just more toys for Patrick Mahomes to have. More stuff for Eric Bieniemy to game plan with, since he's, the running back whisperer. If Bruce Arians is a quarterback whisperer, Eric Bieniemy, he's good with running back. So I thought it was going to be a fit, but that rookie showed that was his job to lose. So like Dom said, I think if he would have never got hurt, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now about Bell. And I think he's going to be gone next year, and I'll end up signing with Washington or someone, that's not going to really win anything.
Right.
But as for Brown,
he'll go to the Rams, dude. He's going to go to the Rams.
As
they
for
need
Brown,
a running back, man.
The last 2 seasons, Mike Evans and Godwin, they haven't been able to finish the season.
Yeah.
So I think they didn't want to have all these weapons. You kind of got to win now with Brady's age. And if Evans got hurt or Godwin got hurt, they thought they could keep it moving and try to make for this playoff push. So I think AB was a 1-year deal. Bruce Arians didn't want him, and that was known. That was all Tom Brady that got him there.
Yeah.
So he was on a 1-year deal, league minimum, and Tom Brady force-fed him the ball at the end of the season to get him his money, to make him happy, so we could get through these playoffs. And I think he'll be gone next year too.
No, I think it's a good insurance policy. That's a good segue for something I really didn't think about till right now, but Bruce Arians always been known as a player's coach, right? He's always, and Andy Reid for the most part in Philadelphia was the same way, and really kind of criticized for not being able to win the big game. He gets Patrick Mahomes, he works out a system, he does things a little bit differently. How much is this going to be the Bruce Arians legacy with Tom Brady, and how much are they tied together now? Arians, just a quick recap. I mean, he did a great job in Pittsburgh. He was the interim coach for the Colts when Chuck Pagano got cancer, and then he went down to Arizona. Struggled a little bit, but him and Carson Palmer did a couple of things and made a couple of little runs down there in the NFC West. But Bruce, he's a football lifer. He's getting up in age. He's retired once because of health issues. He's come back a little fresher. Dion, what do you think as far as having a little bit of connection with him with the Steelers? How much of his legacy is tied to this, and what could a Super Bowl win do for him?
Well, obviously, a Super Bowl win, it's going to definitely up his legacy for sure. I mean, he's gonna go down as a solid coach. I mean, regardless. But for me, like I said, this whole game is more of a Brady and Mahomes type of deal. It'll help. Like I said, of course, victory will be huge. But if he loses it, he's still got a few more years of coaching. And he's gonna have Brady another shot or two at least. So I don't know. Like I said, I mean, and same with Reed. These we haven't seen the last of these two teams, so I don't know. I don't know if it's so much of a, but it'll definitely help his legacy if he wins it.
What do you think, Cam? Is he earn another couple of shots if they do well this year, or do you think Tom Brady takes off and Bruce Arians is this one and done?
No, I think he has a few more years. I think he's building the team that he has now with Todd Bowles and Leftwich. He's trying to promote them. We all know him, and his diversity angle.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to they're going to succeed. And they're going to come in when he's gone. I think he's going to coach for maybe 2 more years at the most.
I agree.
And I think when Tom Brady leaves, he's going to be done himself.
Dom, what do you think, real quick?
And you always hear both these guys, man, like Dion was saying, players, coaches, right? Like you listen to Pat McAfee tell stories about when Arians stepped up and like how much crap they gave each other and just how much fun that guy makes it. And it really showed like second half of the season. Like first half, it was uptight. Everybody was picking them to win everything. And I think they got away from their element a little bit there. But then all of a sudden, like things started clicking for him. It seemed like he relaxed, let Brady run that offense the way Peyton got to run the offense in Denver when he went there the same way, and just got buy-in from his players that way. And Andy Reid, same thing, man. I think he is just, those guys love that dude. Like just absolutely love him. He's big and kind of goofy on the sidelines, and they just like hug him and just give him all the love in the world. And I think he's got this weapon now that he can just take all the risks he wants. Like we always hear about Riverboat Ron, but I don't think Riverboat Ron has anything on Andy Reid at this point, man. Well,
real quick, 1 minute answer. Andy Reid, second Super Bowl win, Hall of Famer. I say yes. 4 NFC championship games with McNabb, made another Super Bowl there. That second Super Bowl win puts him in that upper echelon Hall of Fame coach. Without, it's borderline without the win. With the win, Hall of Fame. Dion,
I say he's Hall of Fame regardless. Obviously, a win, we'll see, man. I think he's going to get one regardless, whether it's this year or in a couple of years. He's going to be around for a little bit longer. He's going to have Mahomes in his prime. He's going to get another one for sure, but even without it, even if he doesn't win another one, Hall of Famer regardless.
Okay. Dom, what do you got?
I am a spiteful Hall of Fame person. I think they're dumb as hell, especially coming off of, I'm a big baseball guy, right? And the baseball process is broken. It's dumb. And that always just puts a bad taste in my mouth, everything. So Andy Reid, yes, just even without the Super Bowl win here, I think he definitely is Hall of Fame worthy. Definitely should go into that, what should be a museum.
Exactly.
Of the best players and coaches and executives in the league. He definitely has earned his right to be there.
Cam, what do you got?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think he's earned it. Whether he wins Sunday, which I don't think he will, but yeah, I think he has a few more years to get him one. And I think before it's said and done, he's going to have 2 or 3.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely.
Now, I'll, one step further, Cam, you touched on it, and I think it was a great note. But both of these coaches, Bruce Arians is the only staff in the NFL that have 3 minority coaches as their main special teams, offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. And Andy Reid also has some diversity on his staff. I think it's a problem the NFL has to work on. These two coaches and the GMs, they let them do what they need to do to promote those things. The Rooney Rule is kind of started with Pittsburgh. So I think we need to acknowledge that these teams are in this position, but there's a lot of great candidates for coaches. But Todd Bowles had a little bit of a chance before. Byron Leftwich is a rising star, and it's only a matter of time.
Can we talk about how pissed off that Eric Bieniemy doesn't have a job lined up?
Oh,
What the-
man.
I mean, we can do a whole hour on that, man. I mean, it's the whole thing. I just
Like-
boggles my mind, and I don't. And he's a Colorado guy, right? I mean, I just
He's
remember
a
the
buff,
Super
man.
Bowl.
He bleeds gold and black, and all of a sudden, like,
If
I
I
don't
could
know.
get off
Pisses me
subject
off.
for 1 second, my dream off season for Dom would be the Broncos to have signed Eric Bieniemy and get Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
Man, that could be
absolutely, man.
2019's offseason dream, bro. I mean, I don't know why
Yeah.
you got to give it to Dom. I mean, don't be
I want the
stingy.
Broncos to win too.
No, I mean, I could live without it, but
Me
we're
too.
not gonna get.
Ben, you've had
Um,
enough winning for your lifetime, man. Nobody's.
I
gonna
know.
feel
I've
sorry
been
for you.
spoiled. I've been spoiled. All
You.
right, back on topic, man. This is a rematch, right? Everybody here watched that first game. I'm going to read off a couple of stats, and we can kind of go through and see how we remember the game and where some of the things we take away from that game and how it may translate to the Super Bowl. So it was a 27-24, and the final result was 27-24. Kansas City won by 3. It was in Tampa.
Yes.
It was that huge start by the Chiefs. 17 first quarter points. Tyreek Hill ran everywhere. No answer for the guy. But once they settled down, right, they only scored 10 points the rest of the game. So if there's any moral victories, which I know there really isn't in sports, the Tampa Bay won 3, and they really dominated the last 3 quarters of that game once they figured out kind of what to do on defense. Again, we talk about that domination from Tyreek Hill, and it really kind of was a domination. 13 receptions, 269 yards, 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes threw for 462 yards,
Wow.
which is like, we talk about Madden numbers that I don't even know if you can get to Madden. You might have to play 10-minute quarters to get there. And the other side, though, too, they didn't really run the ball much, right? If you throw that much, Edwards-Helaire was the leading rusher, 37 yards. Brady didn't have a bad day, but it was 345 yards, 3 touchdowns. But he did throw 2 picks that kind of they weren't really. They were timely picks, and they were, when he had some chances to win that game. But Gronkowski, he had 6 receptions for 106 yards, so he was a pretty big X factor. I think that this was the game of the week that week for sure. But I remember talking to a couple of you guys, and it was really Tampa Bay's big test. They were kind of in that schedule. It was really kind of like boom, 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 back to back. What kind of team is Tampa? What are they going to do? I think that maybe they were 7-5 after this game. And then they really had to figure out, are we going to be a championship level team or just a backdoor playoff team? And they really turned it around afterwards. But Cam, knowing that your team, knowing what they did on defense in the first half versus the second half, what do you think led to Hill getting so open early? Was it over aggressiveness? Was it just no lack of for the scheme? Was it just his speed? I don't know. What do you think?
This was a Todd Bowles adjustment, I believe. So I don't know if it was an ego thing and he thought he was going to be able to play man-to-man with no safety help, but he tried it for a full half. I don't know why. But the second half, we played zone for the majority of the half, and we held them to 10 points. But Carlton Davis is our number 1 corner, but he's an Auburn guy. He never was real fast. I think at the combine, he ran like a 4.58. But Jamel Dean is our speed guy, and he was hurt that game. But even with him being a speed guy, there's no way you should leave Tyreek Hill man-to-man. That's just, the 236 yards, 3 touchdowns, whatever he had, that shows you right there you should never play man-to-man against that man. So I'm hoping they learn from this, and in the Super Bowl, we start off with zone or some sort of bluff coverage because the Chiefs know we're going to look at that second half, and they're going to make their adjustments. So I think we're going to have to make those adjustments on the fly to keep up, because if you get down to the Chiefs, it's almost like it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So it was basically Jets Todd Bowles that first half. And then he turned into, okay, I get what you're saying. 2 things that were, came across that too. JPP had a sack that game, and so did Shaq Barrett. And, Shaq Barrett's been the second half kind of MVP for that defensive line, and he's doing a lot of big things out there. But White and David and Winfield all were super active at linebackers the second half of that game. And so I think that, like you said, that some of that bluff coverage, some of that kind of muck, kind of we're not going to get set up until right before you hike the ball. Kind of that gamesmanship, I think is going to happen a little bit. Dion, we do a lot of fantasy football. We talked a lot about that game that week. I mean, what were some of the things you could take away from that first matchup?
Well, like Cam said, taking chances. It happens to. It's not the only team that this happened to. I mean, how many teams try to go with that approach, and you realize real quick that Tyreek Hill isn't the guy to do that with, right? They did make adjustments, and like I said, I mean, to the way they adjusted and just shut them down in the second half was just, to me, that's telling, and it's huge. And again, this was a time when Tampa, at the point, we knew they were talented. We knew that they're capable of making a run. They're probably going to make a run. But the time they were, I mean, I think this was in Tampa, and I believe they just lost their last two games at home before that as well. So this was their third straight home loss. So they're just trying to figure things out, trying to figure out who they are, what they are, what's going on. And we talked a bit off camera, about this, and I think this was just a perfect game that, looking back, I feel like this, if Tampa goes on to win the Super Bowl, they're going to look back at this game and say, this game was exactly what we needed to refocus us, regroup us, and let us know, hey, yeah, they came out hot, but we stuck with them and we didn't let the game get out of hand like it could have, and it looked like it was going to early. We held them in check. We made some adjustments, and as long as we come out and we play the way that we did in the second half, we can keep this close game and potentially win this game. So like I said, I think it was a huge win, and like I said, it was a big win for Tampa. It was a win for Tampa as far as what you can get from a loss, learning from a loss. I think it was big. Like we said, they went on to win 7 games since, and so yeah.
And Don, what do you, I mean, as far as that first game, observations, things that we could build on for the rematch of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, man, you keep on saying 236 for Tyreek Hill. He had 207 in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And the main thing with that is, like Cam said, they were playing single man on him. They weren't even helping over the top with the safety. And if you want to get some tape on what he does to that, just pull up any Chris Harris Jr. tape, one of the best corners in the league. Yeah. Tyreek Hill lines up on that left hash and runs that drag route to the corner over to the end zone. And he just runs away from everybody. And that's what he did like 3 different times in that game. And he just blew them up. So yeah, then they went to zone and they're playing that safety over the top. They did a decent job bumping Kelsey offline. Like, they didn't let that guy get a free release, and he gets free releases off the line and just kills you over the middle all the time. And that linebacker play Ben was talking about, they did a decent job keeping him there. But the main thing they did that was the adjustment is Shaq Barrett and JPP, right? JPP started playing like he had all 10 fingers again, and he like came out around the side, and they kept Mahomes contained. Like, I don't care about how good your pass rush is. If you leave that lane open for that guy to scramble, it doesn't even matter how many times you break in the pocket. So they keep them contained there. I do think there was a little bit of, hey, let's see how much we can run the ball from the Kansas City Chiefs once they got up big, and they really kind of changed their offensive game plan around a little bit. And they didn't quite get that explosiveness there. I don't remember, was Edwards-Helaire, was he injured that game? I'm not too sure if he actually had played or not inside of that.
He did play that game. I mean, he was there on the field. He didn't do a whole lot. I mean, 11 carries for 37 yards. So
it seemed like they changed up their offensive game plan quite a bit and didn't quite adjust it correctly to what Tampa was doing to him. And I think it was a lot because of that inside linebacker play. So big takeaways there.
And Kelsey was no slouch that game. He had 8 catches for 82 yards. They were just really silent. Just first down. They freaking at first downs.
They stopped him on third down.
If you ask Cam, Kelsey's going to have 8 catches for only 82 yards, and he'll probably take that because you know what Kelsey's capable of doing.
But that depends. That depends if that's on first down or if it's on third down, because he'll kill you on third down. If he's getting 8 yards on third downs and keeps on picking up first downs, that's going to destroy your team.
That's true.
That's true. One takeaway for the Bucs that I think is a strength, that they only gave up 1 sack that day. And even though Brady threw 2 picks and they didn't play their best game, it was a 1-score game. You know what I mean? And they were in position to win that game late a couple of times. And like I said, there's no moral victories in this, but there's definitely some lessons to be learned. And I think the Bucs are going to come away with it a little bit better. And they got a lot of film on what to do, not to do with Tyreek Hill. And the thing about Hill that day, it wasn't that he just had a bunch of yards and all those touchdowns. Dude ate from the beginning all the way through that first quarter and to this. He had 13 catches. I don't even, it's almost like disrespectful to keep throwing the ball to the dude who just burned the other team like 4 times. You know what I mean? It's like, and when we first got our first, Joe Montana's football, and we ran the same play every single time, you know what I mean? And our receiver had 4 touchdowns, so we didn't know what else to do. That's what it was like, but it was just blatant disrespect, really, man. It was like, oh, you can't cover this dude. I'm gonna throw to him 13 times in this first half. So, back to the Super Bowl. The keys to winning the game for Kansas City are going to be what? Dion, what do you think?
Ooh, the keys to is going to have to be score points. They're going to have to figure out that offense or that defense that Tampa's going to throw. Tampa's defense is the better defense in this game by far. And they're going to have to put points on the board. They're going to have to figure out, like I said, something they didn't like something about that, the way that they adjusted in the second half, because they had trouble. Like I said, 63 yards is what actually from the second quarter on is what Tyreek Hill had, So and they couldn't run the ball. So they have to score points, period. They have to figure out that offense or that defense, and they're gonna have to put points on the board. Like I said, that's the only way win. They're gonna have to outscore Tampa, period.
All right, Don, what do you think? Keys to Kansas City winning.
I got 2 keys here. I got Travis Kelce, and I've got inside pass rush. I think.
So you think Okafor, or who's gonna come through to be the defensive disruptor?
Jones is gonna come through and get that, right? Yeah, Jones. Yeah, no.
I think they're gonna double team him?
Is gonna screw up big. Oh, and it doesn't matter. Like for some reason, like I get a lot of Kansas City games where I'm at, man. Watch them every week. For some reason, they're good. Like you can't name anybody. I can't name anybody but Jones on that team, man. And for some reason, they just like have the right schemes put together. If they pressure Brady, if he throws 3 picks like he did last week, they're not going to win this game. Like I'm surprised they beat Green Bay doing that. That was kind of blew my mind that Tampa's defense stepped up and really stopped Aaron Rodgers, and that's why they won that game. But you can't give Mahomes and all those weapons that many chances. So I think just pressuring Brady is really going to be the big thing that they can do on defense.
All right, Cam, I know it might pain you to say this, but the keys to Kansas City winning the game.
Okay, the keys for them is going to be to use the Bucs defense against them. The Bucs, they play fast, sideline to sideline, but they're real aggressive and they bite on a lot of stuff. But they don't bite on play action because we've had the #1 rush defense for the past couple of years. But screen passes hurt us. Why the Saints didn't do that with Alvin Kamara and Green Bay with Jones? And Clyde Hilaire, he can catch out the backfield. So screen pass. That'd beat an aggressive defense, and we were susceptible to that a lot this year. So Kelsey's going to get his regardless. Tyreek Hill's going to get his. If they keep Patty Mahomes upright and they can stop some of these blitzes, because we like to blitz a lot, it's going to be a tough day for the Bucs defense.
Yeah, and I got to go build on that. My key is going to be O-line. If Patty has time, it's going to be a wrap. You know what I mean? He needs to feel pressure. Shaq Barrett needs to be in the backfield. He needs to be knocked down, and he needs to be uncomfortable for the Bucs to win. But if that O-line comes through, if they get the ball out of his hands, or if he has time to kind of pick you apart a little bit, the one thing I hate about Mahomes is, you might play some pretty good defense for a couple minutes, but then he's sneaky with those rushes, right? I mean, he may get 3 or 4 rushes every game, and all of a sudden he has 28 yards rushing, and he picked up 3 extra first downs that you didn't think you were going to have to give up. So he extends drives when with his feet a little bit, but he's a good runner. He's athletic as an athletic guy, but he doesn't get hit when he knows how to get down. He had that neck stinger a couple weeks ago. That was kind of funky, but other than that, I can't really think of a clean shot that he really takes.
Ben, let me ask you a question on that, man. You're saying Shaq Barrett has to get in and get pressure on Mahomes. These dudes run the best scramble drill in the entire league, probably the best scramble drill I've ever seen in the entire history of football. So yeah, you have to get back there, but unless you wrap that dude up, it doesn't do you any good, because they break plays for 30, 40, 50 yards. It seems like every time that he's just rolling to the right, rolling to the left, he doesn't care. So
I think just the more uncomfortable
Shaq
you
comes
get
around the corner, there's somewhere for him to go. I don't know, man.
I just think you got to get him. Yeah, go ahead.
This is one big thing, though. They lost Fisher that game against the Bills. You're missing your starting left tackle going against Shaq Barrett and JPP. So you're going to have to use your running back to chip quite a bit and your tight end to keep him upright. So
And
that's
I
a
think
big
that's
factor.
yeah, I think the thing is, like, there's so many timing routes with Hill with his speed. If you get Mahomes off of his mark, I think you can disrupt him enough. I mean, again, this is the MVP of the league, 78 quarter touchdowns or whatever he threw last year. Bionic arm, all that kind of stuff. Kermit the Frog voice, all the good things that he has going for him. If you can disrupt him a little bit, his timing may get off and you may have a chance, but everybody's playing catch up to the Chiefs. That's just the way it is. So on the flip side, Bucks, what are the keys to the Bucks winning? Dom, why don't you go ahead and go?
Man, they already failed. Like Tom Brady sending the barber that was going to screw up the whole team, and it just didn't happen, man. Like
That's true.
was,
That's
yeah.
true.
Like
Inside
I was gonna.
job.
We all thought Bill Belichick was the guy that was scheming. It was Tom Brady, dude. He inflated the balls and he's sending in barbers to try to screw up the whole team. But no, sorry, I don't think they can. I don't think they can. If they do, it's because they get turnovers. Turnovers is what they need. That's the only way they can win this game. They can't have stops. They have to have turnovers for points, and they can't kick field goals, man. They have to actually score. Throw that ball up in the air to Mike Evans when you're in the red zone every single time, and try to get turnovers. That's it.
All right, Cam, you got to go right after that, man. He just took like the wind out of your sails,
It's
man.
all
He
good.
just
They didn't think we could beat the Saints and the great Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau Field. He's unbeatable, and they beat him too. And the way we beat both those teams is with our defense.
Yep.
And I think it's going to happen this game too. And no one gives them the credit they need. I think we got the best middle linebacker in the league. That's just me being biased. I think the second one got hurt, and he's in Pittsburgh. He got hurt this year. So he's key. He makes that whole engine run, and he's healthy. They're cocky right now. They know no one gives them a chance. We got veterans along the line. Vita Vea came back. So, I think they're going to stop the run. I think we can force a couple turnovers, like Dom said, and I think we win a close game.
All right. Dion, what do you got?
Starts with keeping Brady clean. You got to keep Brady clean. If they do like they did last time, that was a big key to keeping him in the game. And then other than that, let your guys eat. You got so many weapons. And I think a big one to me is going to be Brake. Is if he's healthy, you go with the 2 tight end sets. Gronk, he had how many yards did he have last game? It was over 100. I know that.
It was over 100, 6 catches, 106 yards.
He's a mismatch. So use the mismatch. I think that's going to be a key right there. Honestly, Gronk doesn't want to be showed up by Kelsey. He's like, I created this game. So I think that's the keys right there. Is you got to let your guys eat. And like I said, particularly, I want to see Gronk and Brake.
To me, the Bucks have to finish quarters, right? That's what the Chiefs always get you at the end of the half, at the end of the quarter. They just always get you. But if the Bucks are able to finish quarters strong or finish the half strong, just like against Green Bay, right? They snuck that last touchdown in. Kansas City is notorious for that, right? You think you're good. They got 46 seconds, and all of a sudden they come down and get a field goal for no reason, just to do it and mess with you. But if the Bucks defenses can finish quarters, finish halves, put it's a big deal. Being a Tom Brady fan and the Patriots fan for a long time, field position is a big deal for Tom Brady. He does not like to start in his own end zone. He wants to start where he's going to be efficient, get up the field, put his players in position, let AB do those sideline drags, open up the middle for Gronk, and then force the red zone. No Bray is going to be probably more Evans. But I think just finishing out the half strong and making sure the defense, either side of the ball. If you got the ball, you got to score before half. If you're on defense, don't let them score before half, and you got a chance for the second half. Dion, what do you got for as far as just the official Vegas numbers, over under and the spread, and we'll make some picks.
All right. So right now the Vegas has the spread at Chiefs -3 and an over under at 56, which I think is fair. For me personally, I feel like this is the matchup everybody wanted all year, all along. 2 of the best teams in the league. I said it all along. I've always felt like, Tampa had to come the harder route going on the road in the playoffs, but to me, they were always number 2 seed B, right? I thought they were better than the Saints all year. And like I said, this is the matchup everybody wanted. So I think that's fair being at home. And what are your predictions, man? What do you got on your predictions for?
The first game, they scored 51 total points. And if you would have bet that over under in the first quarter or the first half, right, it would have been like at 68 points, and they just totally dropped the bottom off after that super fast start by the Chiefs. I don't think that happens again. And I think that the Bucks win a close game. I mean, if the Chiefs win, it's a blowout, right? I mean, I just feel that because, you know, maybe the wind takes out of the sails. The Bucks feel like they're not in it. But I'm going to go with Bucks straight away. I'm not even going to take the points. Bucks money line, straight up winning, and I will take the under because that means that if the Bucks are in position to win, they are going to be playing really good defense, and Pat Mahomes is going to be disrupted. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that that defense has a chip on their shoulder. They've never were thought of as top notch. It was always Aaron Donald and the Rams and all these other kind of people, being mentioned. And I think they're going to carry the day. And that's a Tom Brady Super Bowl recipe for success. Tough D, timely throws, win a close game. Let's get out of here and celebrate. So I'm going money line, Bucks, close game with the under.
You give a score or what?
Under. All right.
Dom, what you got, Dom?
Oh man, and sorry, Cam, I just can't see the Chiefs losing this game. Like, I just don't understand how they work. They always win when they need to. They always score when they need to. You give Patty Magic that ball, and all of a sudden he just does whatever he wants to. So I hate to say it, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs to cover, and I'm gonna go the over on it. I think they actually get stupid points from something unexpected, whether it be special teams, whether it be some wide receiver I've never heard of before, or someone catching a screen pass, taking a long run. I don't know what it is, but I just think that they have a little bit of magic right now, and they just have this utmost confidence that they can score every time they touch the ball. So I'll actually say like 34-27, man, 34-27 Chiefs.
Okay. How about you, Cam? Here you go. Floor's yours.
That's funny because I had it 30-27 Bucks. So I think it's going to be a good, exciting game. I think the first half's going to be kind of slow, a lot of punts. The people aren't going to be used to the Chiefs punting. They don't punt much. And then I think the second half, they're just going to turn it on, both teams. I think we win a nail biter. So I just think I've been seeing Brady do this all these years for Ben, and I just can't bet against him. He just happens to be on my team this time. And I think the run game's going to be important because I think the play action's going to open up for the Bucks. I think we got a better chance of running the ball than the Chiefs do against us. And, just got to go with my team. I think we're going to win a close one.
You're taking the points and the over.
Yes.
Perfect. Sounds good. And I'm right there with you. I feel like I'm not going to bet against Tom Brady either. Like I said, I feel like we're maybe getting to that point with Mahomes, early in his career where you're going to stop betting against him. But so many big things here for me. You're talking about home field. You're playing at home for Tampa. 2-2 is Mahomes and Brady. 2-2. You tell me that's not going through Brady's mind. He doesn't want to have a losing record against Pat Mahomes. And he knows he's got very few more games against his kid, and he doesn't want to have a losing record against him. And I just feel like the Buccaneers have the better defense and the better run game, and those are two huge things in the playoffs and especially in the Super Bowl. So I'm also going to take the Buccaneers and the points, and I'm going to take the over as well. I don't got an exact score, but I feel like Tampa's not really being looked at as far as a team that could put up points, but they're putting up more points than people are giving them credit for. And we know the Chiefs can put up points at will. So they haven't really done it as often this year. There was so many weeks this year that, they won the game, but it's like they just don't look right. Something ain't right. I felt all year something's not right with the Chiefs. And I blamed it on maybe Mahomes, and the Chiefs are kind of like how Rodgers appears a lot of times, that he just looks bored, or he's just, and then now it's playoff time, let's turn it on. But even so, they still feel like there's something missing. I don't know exactly what that is. They haven't been as dominant to me in my eyes as I know they can be and they should be. So I'm taking the points and the over. So
All right, man. We're wrapping up to the end. One more bonus question.
Did you
Oh, go
watch
ahead,
him
Dom.
play? Did you watch him play the Bills, Dion?
No, they did.
what
They
was-
did look better. I will give you that.
They got
did
down
look
early.
more like the Chiefs against
They
the Bills.
did.
I will give you that. I
for
will give you that.
5
Look
minutes,
against,
and
look
they
against
scored
the
21
Browns.
points.
I mean, the Browns, they could have lost to the Browns. They should have lost to the Browns if the Browns don't punt the ball. We could go on, but I just felt like they haven't looked like the team that I wanted to see and been expecting to see. They win in, they're getting it done, so I can't say nothing about it. So, but
One more thing though, Ben, we had
Well,
breaking news.
One last.
Here we
okay,
go.
ahead.
Here we go.
We had with distractions. Dom was talking about Brady sending the barber. We just had the thing happen a few hours ago with Andy Reid's son,
true.
and now he's not going to be at the Super Bowl. And
His
can
mind
that
is
be a
elsewhere.
distraction? Because you're the
Yeah.
linebackers coach, and now you might have a vehicular homicide case going on. Is that going to
No.
distract the team?
I think it could be a heavy heart for Andy. I mean, how can he not be
Yes.
thinking about that? I mean, he has
About
to
your son.
lawyer up. He has to do all the things that you got to do to take care of your family. And we're not going to cast doubt on if this is a situation that is going to be criminal at some point, or we're just going to say as a football distraction only.
Yes.
How can you not be worried about your son, that situation, that other family who lost somebody and now they're grieving? And just a really heavy situation, especially for any week, but Super Bowl week. We all have our own professional jobs. Just imagine if we had to go through something like that, and how much we'd be distracted, doing our regular everyday 9 to 5s. I don't know how I could do it, but let alone one of the biggest days of your life, you got to go out there and perform. Good point, Cam.
Dom, you have something else? Did you have something else, Dom?
One thing I forgot on my predict. Half of that is the coach, man, is the coaching staff. I just trust Andy Reid more than I might trust the Tampa Bay staff. That's it. Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why I'm going Bucks. I think Bruce is like, it's this close. Like I worked my entire football life to get this close. I need it. He had it as a coordinator with the Seahawks and with Pittsburgh, that Super Bowl there. But he's so close, he's hungry.
It's gonna be great, man. Honestly, I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I haven't been as excited for a Super Bowl as I am for this one, in a while. It's gonna be a great matchup. Should be a good game, man.
And usually, 3 or 4 of us is all together and hanging out, and we're doing our thing. This is a COVID year, so we're going to be watching it online and texting, and we're doing our thing. But last bonus question, we're going to wrap up. We're almost at an hour. Super Bowl MVP. Who you got, Dom?
Yeah, dude, that's a hard one. I'm gonna go Travis Kelce. I think that the Bucks try to take away Hill, and Kelce just has a huge game, but that's kind of tough too, man. If Kelce has that many yards, that many catches, how do they not give it to Patrick Mahomes? It's gonna be weird. I'll just go with Kelce because I think he's just on top of his game right now.
All right, Cam, what do you got?
I'm going Devin White. I'm right with the linebacker, man. He's been making plays.
Oh man,
I think he's going to cause a couple turnovers. He's going to lead the game in tackles. He's going to some big splash plays. I think it's going to be
Can be Von Miller, huh? Von Miller day.
Yeah, there you go. I think so.
There you go.
All right, Dion, who you got?
Oh, hey, I can't argue with Cam. Like last time the Buccaneers were in the Super Bowl was a linebacker won the MVP, right? So I'm gonna go with Brady. It's Super Bowl number 10. It's still not registering to me. 10 Super Bowls this guy's been to, and so yeah, if they win, it's because of Brady doing what he has to do. So I'm gonna take Brady.
All right, since I'm a co-host, I'm gonna go Brady as well, but I have a dark horse. I'm gonna go Lenny Fournette, unknown, break a couple runs, maybe a couple of goal line touchdowns, maybe a catch or two. I don't think he's going to be a very big X factor for the Chiefs defense, at least at first. I think he's going to slip through, and Lenny Fournette for the win, Super Bowl MVP. We'll post up our predictions, then we'll see who actually wins the MVP, and we'll go from there. Hey man, that's a Super Bowl wrap. I mean, I really enjoyed this whole
fun.
The group chat coming together and getting on screen, man. We need to do this a couple more times.
I agree, man. Thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, we'll post this up. I'll do the editing tonight on Friday. It'll be up on Saturday morning on YouTube. So we'll have a full 24-hour, 48-hour kind of news cycle. We'll review what we got on Monday, and we'll do it again sometime.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Sounds
All right,
great.
thanks, fellas.
All right, man.
Guys.
We're sports logging off. See y'all later. Peace.